Joel, I guess talk a little bit about your recruiting class for this year as a whole. I mean, 4 forwards and 3 former captains.
Yeah, we're very happy with where we're at right now. If this is all we have going into next season, we're confident in the group we have. If we have an opportunity to add someone else, we'll definitely do that. But right now, with 5 players we've added to the roster for next season, and 4 from Northwestern Ontario we're thrilled with. Obviously 3 OHL captains who bring leadership and character and hard work in. And then Luke Kane transferring in from NCAA and his experiences, and James Delory coming in with 2 years pro. We think it's a recruiting class that brings a variant wealth of skill and experience, and it's going to make our team a lot better.
Last year, from the outside anyway, it seemed like you guys really targeted size, getting bigger. Was there any kind of defining characteristics that you were looking for as kind of a common thread amongst your recruits this year?
Yeah, this year it was an interesting year recruiting-wise, just because we don't have very many holes to fill, only losing Mitch Mono and Devin Welch. So we wanted to go out and just target players who we thought could make our team better. I think you can never have enough grit and toughness and character players, and getting 3 OHL captains completely address that for us, and we think they're going to be great building blocks for our future.
You've got 5 players coming in, 2 going out. That's going to open up maybe a little bit of competition. And what's going to happen there? I mean, are you going to carry more players this year, or are some jobs in jeopardy?
Yeah, I haven't thought too much about roster size. That'll all sort itself out in September. What we want to do is bring in the skill sets that give us the best possible team. And if we're in this situation where perhaps we have to make a few cuts in September, we'll look at doing that. But I also know from my experiences, your roster can become depleted pretty quickly. And every year that I've coached here, we've had someone leave unexpectedly in August. So we want to be prepared for all situations.
Because the question I would have on that last note there is, are you expecting anybody to leave unexpectedly in August? I mean, obviously, kind of, and Matt Carrier would be the guy that comes to mind.
No, everyone right now has indicated they're coming back, and I'm moving forward expecting everyone to be in training camp in September, but if the situation arises where someone isn't, we'll be prepared for that.
Just one thing that jumps out at me, and you keep mentioning the 3 OHL captains, do you feel like leadership was an area where team was a little deficient last year?
I thought we were a young team. I thought our leaders did a great job, but it never hurts to add more of that. And Dale Hunter made a great quote in the paper the other day, saying if you add skill to a gritty, hard-working team, you're going to be successful. And we think we have a fair bit of skill on our team, and we want to continue to add the character and the grit and the leadership to it.
And just one question, is your coaching staff going to be still intact from last season?
Yeah, I expect it to be. I haven't talked to everyone yet, but I expect everyone to be back.
How much of a better position are you guys in this year? I mean, you mentioned that you didn't have a lot of holes to fill. Just how much different, I guess, was your thought process going into this recruiting season as opposed to last year?
Yeah, with 11 first-year players last year, we didn't really know what to expect heading into training camp. We were hoping that guys would be able to step into the lineup and contribute, and they did, and that's why we had a successful season. This year, we think we've added to that, and really it's going to depend on how well our veterans play when they come back. If our young guys can continue to improve and our veterans still have the fire and the intensity and want to win, with the addition of our new guys, we think we're going to be extremely strong next season.
One area that maybe some of the fans were questioning a little bit is your goaltending. You seem like you're happy with Alex and Jeff Bosch in that.
Yeah, we think Alex has made great strides over his time here. He came to our team very raw, and we've seen improvement, and he was one of the more consistent goalies in the OUA throughout the whole season last year. He's proven he can take us to the OUA championship, and he played well through that playoff run his rookie season. Jeff Bosch, now that he's acclimated to university and back in school in Thunder Bay, we expect big things from him, and we think there's going to be a healthy competition between the two of them. It's no different than any other position. If we think we have an opportunity to add someone who's going to make our team better, we'll do that, but I don't think there's any recruits out there right now in that can come in and knock one of the 2 of them out of their spots.
Again, just going back to the fact that you guys didn't have a lot of holes to fill, how much impact are you expecting from these 5 players? I mean, what's the realistic chance that they crack the lineup night in and night out?
It's tough to predict with first-year guys. Sometimes you have a player coming in who you expect will be a major contributor immediately, and they're not, and other times you have someone come in and you don't expect much from them, and they give a lot. I think you look at the impact Mitch Philman had last year, and Jake Carrick, and then how guys like Keith Grond and Mike Hammond came on throughout the course of the year. we'd love to see that from these guys this year. Obviously, best case scenario for us is they come in and they play their best and our veterans play their best, and it's a healthy battle right from the beginning. If some of them take a little bit longer to get used to CIS hockey, then that's the case, but we feel pretty confident they'll all be contributors.
Just one thing you mentioned with the 11 first-year players last year. Now they're going into their second seasons. Do you have any that you anticipate having a big breakout? Or that you see maybe poised to take that next step?
It's tough to say breakout because I thought some of them were leaders on our team. If you factor in non-conference games and all that, Mike Hammond led our team in scoring last year. Mitch Philman, a CIS all-rookie team. I thought Jake Carrick got better as the year went on. Keith Grondin became one of our clutch players down the stretch and into the playoffs. So we want to see them to continue to do that. And there's some first-year guys who didn't get a lot of ice last season, and we hope that they'll play better this year, and with a more increased role, hopefully, that we'll see more production out of them.
What do players typically have to focus on in between year one and year two when, like you said, they are more acclimated to the CIS play?
I think a lot of first-year players are nervous when they come in their first year, and they work extremely hard, and they're very focused when they get here for their first training camp. And what I've talked to all them about is make sure you come back with the same attitude next year. Don't take anything for granted. Just because you had a successful first season doesn't mean your second season is going to be successful. So make sure you put in the time and the effort, and you come back with the attitude that you're going to work every day and continue to develop as a player.
Have you seen that happen with players in the past where they do kind of maybe get a little bit lazy in the second?
I think you see players who, for whatever reason, don't play as well as their career goes on, whether it's school gets tougher or maybe their focus in life changes a little bit, and they understand the importance of a career after hockey, and sometimes it does affect the player's performance on the ice. So I'm just trying to make sure they understand that it's tough to balance school and hockey, and they have to make sure that every year they come back focused.
You compared this recruiting class, or four of them actually from Northwestern Ontario, to the Richards dudes. Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, I think the strength of our program will always be based on the caliber of hockey players coming out of Northwestern Ontario. And we had success in the early years of our program, and we had some very, very good players from the region. Mike Jacobson, who I think was underrated, was probably the best player in the CIS for a couple of years there. And Brian Deuce coming back with pro experience, and obviously what Jeff Richards did for our program, and I can go on and on and on. We hope that these guys coming in from the region have that little increased sense of pride in Thunder in Northwestern Ontario, and we hope that they can develop into a similar recruiting class and lead us to championships.
Do you think you guys have kind of started to get away from the local base then in a couple of years past?
I don't think we've gone away from it. I just don't think the players have really been there. It's funny, you can make jokes that what if the Stalls weren't quite as good as they were? Maybe they'd be terrific players in the CIS. So we love when there's great players from the region who become available to us, and this is one of those years.
Perfect. Great.